Banim v'shavu banim v'lam shavu banim shavu v'lam shavu banim v'shavu banim Baruch Hashem, everyone's returning. So we are learning chapter 4 now. I want to do a little dance on chapter 1, 2 and 3. And I have a summary from my holy brother, Reb Shmuel Diamond. He put out on his website, B'nai Aliyah, a summary guide of Tanya. There's some good points here. He says, the more one invests in learning this holy text and listening to teachers in possession of its oral tradition, the more the mind-bending, holographic nature of Tanya becomes apparent. The same theme is distinguishing between ends and means. This is a big part of his klalim that he goes into. Anyway, the main point is, Ha'esh Shali Tukad that was quoting Rabbi Nachman, but he says it also fits very well with the Tanya. Until the coming with the fire of impenitent selfhood, the ego burn. Yeah, we're going to remove the spirit of impurity. That's what he says. So the first three Perokim are what is a Jew? Yeah, we learned about, he calls it the natural soul, the godly soul.
Oh, wow.
And chapter 3 is all about the 10 faculties, is what we just did. 10 spheres of human chokhmah, bina, das, and emotions.
Can you send me that?
Yeah, I'll send you this.
Send it my way.
This is my friend. It's a PDF. I'll send it to you, no problem. Now, we are now transitioning from discussing souls, like what is a Jew? That's the way he describes these three prochim we just did. So, for example, Tzaddik, Beinani, Rasha, Nefesh Bahamis, yeah, the Nefesh of the Bahamis of the non-Jew, and then the Nefesh Elikus is the second chapter, and all the different levels within each soul. Yeah. He talked about, the highest level soul coming down to the lowest level family. And then we had 10 spheres, Chochmah, Bina, Das, emotions. And that goes into what we were doing yesterday. It was powerful. Now, Torah mitzvahs. He goes on to say, the three garments of Nefesh Elikus. We're going to talk about the thought, speech, and action, and the vushim. That's where we're at right now. So we're going into a different time period, a different kufa of learning now. We're going into Torah and mitzvahs. And the opposite, obviously, whatever is going to pull us away from that. So that's basically till chapter 9, according to the summary. So we're going to be a big focus now, which is very appropriate, Parshas YISRAEL, that we're learning about Torah mitzvahs.
That's amazing. It always lines up.
Yeah, it does.
It's like Hashem is learning with us.
Yes, he is. We learned the Kutamaron for a bunch of weeks. We even went away. And now we're learning about Baruch Hashem, the Jewish soul, which is the first thing we have to get. That's part of leaving Mitzrayim. And only once we have a Jewish soul, we have a Emunah Hashem, can then we get the Torah. And that's what we're doing now. And everything's Bashgacha Prata, divine flow, that we'd be learning it. You went to America, I went to England, all the different things that brought us today back to the Holy Land, back to these limudim. It was like a good achana with the Kutamaron to get to these beautiful Torahs in Tanya. Okay, let's learn chapter Dalet, chapter Perek 4. I like mixing it up. Yeah, he says, Od yesh l'chol nefesh alakis shlosh levushim shehem machshava dibur v'masa shem tarek mitzvahs haTorah gesha'odem mekayim v'masa kol mitzvahs masiyas v'dibur v'oisik b'ferish kol tarek mitzvahs yikoseim b'machshava hu masik kol ma she'efshar lo lahasik b'pardes v'Torah hay koles tarek avari nefesh v'levushim v'tarek mitzvahs haTorah practice bechinas Chabad shebenafsha levushis v'asagas haTorah shemasik b'pardes k'fi yacholes asagas shorish nafsha lamala. Okay, this is so important. This fourth chapter. So we're let's go down step by step.
Yesh l'chol nefesh.
Yesh l'chol nefesh.
When he says nefesh, is he talking nefesh in terms of nefesh chaya? Nefesh, ruach, neshama, chaya?
Yeah, that's a good question. It could be, it means in this case just strictly person.
Okay, you're saying it's a person.
Yeah, lav dafka means, but we did learn that the nefesh alakis is
right. And is he talking
That's
here?
The level of the Jewish soul, hasn't
it? So this is talking about the nefesh alakos right now.
Yeah, and it's Sholosh
Oh, it
Levushim.
says here nefesh alikos.
Yeah, Sholosh
Shalosh
Levushim.
levushos.
There's three. What are these three? Machshava Dibur Ma'aseh. Very important. The whole way that the Jewish system works. Say, for example, you have Shabbos. So 3 days going up to Shabbos is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's machshava. No, sorry, that's dibur. Sorry, action. That would be ma'aseh dibur machshava. You're going up in the levushim, and then every Shabbos you come back down. So right now, in terms of the week, we're Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So we're right now in the world of action. So it descends. Shabbos goes up, Shabbos goes down, and Shabbos is the panemius, is the neshama of those three levushim. And that's a good example, like a menorah. That every week we're going up 3 and going down 3, going up these 3 levushim. Obviously, they're more refined as you go up, from action to speech to thought, and then Shabbos is the neshama, the panemius of it. So that's one way of just. I mean, there's all different ways of picturing these concepts. I made a whole brand, Unity Inspires Projects. My whole brand, Unity is machshava, Inspires is dibur, speaking inspiration, and projects is action. That's my personal company brand. Anyway, machshava dibur ma'aseh shetarg mitzvahs Torah. They are the garments, thought, speech, action, as they find expression in the 613 commands of the Torah. So you have this concept of thought, speech, and action, and it's going to be impacting different ways of doing mitzvahs. Torah, the 613 mitzvahs, tarag mitzvahs. When a person actually actively fulfills all the precepts which require physical action, and then you have to go do many of the mitzvahs to fulfill them, like tzitzis, for example. And with the power of speech, he occupies himself in expounding on the 613, which is what we're doing now. We're learning. Okay, so we've got tzitzis on, that's the action. We've got speaking Torah, that's the dibur, the speech. And the machshavahu maseh kol ma she'ef shelo lahasig b'pardes haTorah. And through thought, you're comprehending all the different levels of pardes. And it's very important to remember there's 4 levels of Torah, which is pardes is Rosh Tevis, Pshat, Remez, Drosh, Sod. Or the Tzaddikim would go into those realms. There's even Svarim that express the different levels. Like, for example, B'nai Sascha. He brings sometimes in the Drushim and things like that, he brings pardes. He goes through higher and higher levels of understanding of a Chag or Yom Tov or
so like Pshat is just
Pshat.
It's just pshat.
Simple level.
Literal.
Remez is hint. Drosh
what's
is
an example of remez?
Remez would be more like with. I mean, this is me personally talking now, but with I'm sure there's different ways of explaining it. But Raphael Hirsch is very much remez. They'll say like tochach. What's tochach? Tochacha. It has in it toich, and then he has ches. Hey, ahava. If you want to give a rebuke to someone, he has to be toich within ahava. That's a remez. It's a hint. How you want to give hint. The word hints, the way to do it is with love. You can't give rebuke without love. That's like a vort from Raphael Hirsch. So it's a remez. It's a hint. Making deeper through the words of deeper Yom Kippurim. Exactly, that'd be a remez. Exactly.
That was a good one.
Yeah, that's a famous one. Yeah.
That's a nice
and then drosh. Drosh is the idea of expounding, it
says
I'm very much into level of drosh. I'm more of a drosh kind of guy. That's where my neshama is shorish.
Homiletical.
Close to soda, I think. Homiletical doesn't mean much to me, but some of these long words they just go over my head. You can translate them, but it's not going to really do much. The way I would say drosh is like Sarah Desla Torah. I'm named after him. Like the idea of just expounding, like bringing deeper and deeper, connecting everything. It's making sense of, this connects to that. Like I think Reb Nosson is more like a darshan, like he's darshaning Rabbi Nachman, like bechina. Yeah, everything's connecting up.
It's like it's like when you're learning in the Gemara, and someone brings in just like
drasha.
The Gemara and Yavamis and the Tosis and
it starts connecting everything up. Yeah,
just pull it all together
and makes a beautiful picture of Torah.
Interesting.
So it's not just simple level; it's deeper. Seeking out what the real meaning is.
What would a gematria be?
Gematria, I would personally put it in remez, but it's probably more solid because it's the panemius of what the words are. But the real sod is obviously what we learn in the Kutzmaron, and over here the Kuti is like Kisva'ari, like real panemius of Torah. Yeah. It's not just a cute gematria. Like maybe the gematria at the end of it just makes sense of everything we just learned. But to make the gematria the ikka is not really sod. It's not just like it says it's papas Torah. It's like dessert. It's not really that sod is connecting to the inner level. It's going the secrets. This is what it means literally. So we're going into secrets. That's meant to be something that you have to be roy. You have to be on the level to receive these secrets. You can read the words, you can read the Zohar, but to understand it really, you have to be on the level to understand it. Okay, so that's where like the Arizal and the YITZCHAK and the YITZCHAK and the Zohar Kodesh, all these farm and the Rabbi Nachman and Tanya bring all the time quotes from these. So when we're learning any Chassidus, we're always touching on all four, in my opinion. Yeah, there's always all four because they're holding on all four. They were usually giant Talmid Chacham who knew Kol Torah Kula. Most of the Chassidish Svarim, so they're able to tap in. You could say some Svarim are more this, more that. What the Tanya does, which is really really important, is he has a sefer on it's called the Shulchan Aruch Harav, where it has Hilchos Talmud Torah. This is the Rambam's Hilchos Talmud Torah, but the Tanya's Hilchos Talmud Torah is essential in my opinion. I think all yeshivas really should at least touch on it at some point, and because it gives you a breakdown of how to learn Torah in a much more deeper level, which is essential for our generation. For example, it says there, from what I remember vaguely, I mean it's been a while since I learned the Hilchos Talmud Torah and Rav Shulchan Aruch, but when I remember, it says every neshama is obligated to learn the shorish of his neshama. You don't see that in general like yeshivas. They're not going to say that. So that's the problem in the yeshiva world. They're not talking that kind of talk, and it's essential for our generation, in my opinion. To the point where it can literally save lives and save people's Yiddishkeit. Everyone needs to learn according to this who they are, who their soul is. Not just some box. Do what the yeshiva tell you. No consideration for the people. It's just about the name of the yeshiva and everyone functioning. That's not good enough for our generation. Our generation are such soul seekers. They're looking for truth, and you have to give them the truth. And so it's going to be totally on the soul, on the kind of soul, the level of the soul. To say, the Rebbe Reiman on that Madrega. So find someone who is. And if you can't find someone who is, let the person himself at least have a chance to have some time to learn Torah that he connects with or she connects with. That there should be some sort of soul connection to what they're learning. They feel inspired by it, not just forcing them to do what the yeshiva want. And that, cause I was
Chabad, they teach Tanya.
They learn Pnimis Torah. Wow. They learn Pnimis Torah. They learn Chabad. They learn Chassidus. I mean, you can't only that. You have to learn Niglas Torah. You have to learn Gemara. You have to learn Halacha. You have to learn Chumash. There has to be like a Pardes, which is like, what is Pardes also? It's Keneged Yud Kei Vav Kei. He's going to bring some beautiful concepts, because really what we're going to see from the Tanya is that the Torah is a way of connecting to Hashem. Learning Torah, all the different ways Hashem expresses himself. Because the Yud Kei Vav Kei, how would it be Yud Kei Vav Kei? The Hey would be the Pardes, would be the Pshat. The Vav would be the Remez. The higher Hey would be the Drosh, and the Yud would be the Sod. Now, Pnimiyas Svarim say Chasidus is the Kot Shel Yud. It's the one that brings it all together, Kesser Malchus. That's the Pnimiyas. I saw Baruch Morgenstern once. That's Yechida. Chassidus was Yechida. We mentioned all the 5 levels of the soul. It's also the same thing. All these patterns connect in. All the worlds. Everything connects in. It's one big system, a pattern of thought. So Yechida was the Torahs of the Baal Shem, which was the Torah Shel Mashiach, which brings everything together. So to just exclude that because of some old school misnagdus or something, when there's all these souls who need it to get to Mashiach, it's like how many people I've met who didn't learn Chassidus and would have saved them because their parents had a shita from some Rebbe or some Rav, some Masorah. I mean, every Masorah is important, but it's time to update a little bit. Maybe that was true. For other Masorahs, but for this Nakuda to say that the Vilna Gaon was against Breslov or Chabad, and therefore my children are never going to learn it, I just feel like that's not realistic for our generation. That's my opinion.
If the Vilna Gaon was around,
they'll say no. My Rebbe, my Rav Simcha Wasserman and Rav Elchanan Wasserman, big Gedolim, big Talmid Chachamim. How dare you go against my Masorah? That's what I got from my Rebbeim. Yeah, and it's true. They're giant Gedolim like the Chavetz Chaim, and they're giant people, but I don't know if you now would ask them right now to their face, should my son learn L'kutei Moharan, to be able to understand Nekudas Tovus, the Indian of Nekudas Tovus, because he's having the Sionis right now. How the God is bris. Is there a Litvish Musa Sefer that's going to help him in this Indian?
Right.
Can you show me where it's going to talk about his struggle? And they'll say, honestly, it's the best place to go is Shomer Munim or Breast of Torah.
Right.
No, Vilna Gaon said no. No, he said that was a few hundred years ago. We're not talking about our level of souls. Right. So I don't know. That's my old shtickle little rant. But
I think right now the only thing that is keeping a real I don't know, maybe a big statement, but you just see that Panemius Torah is really what's lighting up Yiddishkeit.
Yeah, it's lighting up. It's giving chiyas, energy to it all.
I feel I don't experience any R coming from the other world.
Well, there is. I had the merit to be by Literature Rabbonim. Funny enough, the best one actually is no longer working in that yeshiva from my time when I was there. I don't know what happened, but he's not there anymore. I was shocked. He was the Geschmack is Gemara Rebbe. But anyway, he used to give over Gemara with Geschmack. He used to say it's like eating chocolates. And you felt that when you were learning with him.
Well, Nachman says to learn Gemara, right?
Yeah, you learn Gemara, you learn Tosfos. You learn it with an energy, and the pilpul and the lamdas.
I'm saying
Geschmack.
Kids.
And it's all there. You have to be on a certain level to access that.
Yeah.
You have to work hard. It's not going to come easy. And so, first you need to open up some of these kids to want to learn a tool. Right. So we learn that Torah Aleph and L'kutei Moharan. You see that Rabbi Nachman says the only way you're going to reach the Panemius is through learning Torah. Remember, we learned that. Or same thing with how you're going to fix up, nigunim, songs that aren't kosher and not learning the Shema through learning Torah at night. We learned this is all Rabbi Nachman, and now we're learning from straight away the Tanya after 3 prokim. What's he go into? Torah mitzvahs. Doesn't go into learn Chassidus. Did you see him say learn Chassidus?
I didn't see. Did you see?
The concept of Pardes includes Chassidus, as one of the.
He wrote homiletical.
Yeah.
Homiletical, if you want to do that.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know either.
Harikai is Targ, Avari Nasha, Bushim, Betarag, Mitzvahs, Torah. Yeah, some of these translations need to be updated. And all the soul, 613 organs are clothed in 613 commandments of the Torah. Yeah, so the soul mirrors the Torah commandments.
Okay. All right. Soul and the mitzvah is deeply compatible.
Yeah. Pratis Bechinas Chabad Shebanashla Bushim.
613 components.
Yeah.
Of the soul.
That's so we start to realize that there's an actual system. Now, if you add up 6 plus 1 plus 3 equals 10, and then you get back to the 10 surahs, 10 commandments, everything's ultimately united. Yeah. It says the 10 commandments, that's the Dibros, has within it all the Tarek mitzvahs. There's droshes and remozim on this, but the point is that it's all panimi, it's all one, it's all Hashem Echad.
Right, the Taryag.
But it has to go out to klalim and pratim for us to be able to then take this physical world and know how to take a piece of wool and make it into tzitzis, or how to take a piece of leather and turn it into tefillin. Yeah, it has to be guidance how to use this physical world, and it gets more into pratim. And that's part of the thing, to keep the klal and prat together. Not to get totally lost in the pratim or the mitzvahs, but to remind yourself again and again, there's a cloud of Hashem Echad, of serving Hashem with these mitzvahs. And it comes together with the neshama. The organs of our body are clothed. How would it be the organs? You know that whole Torah, it's famous remez, another remez, that we have 248 limbs, right. 248 positive mitzvahs, 365 sinews, connected to 365 negative mitzvahs. Yeah, Lota says.
Right, limbs and organs.
So we're walking human Tarek mitzvah.
Walking human Sefer Torah.
Yeah, we are built with this system.
It's a big tzaddik.
Yeah, everyone has the Tarek mitzvahs. I don't know from much one, but be masking to you singing that right now.
Not a fan.
I'm just joking. It's a good song. Pratis B'chinas Chabad Shemanasha Bushim V'Sagas HaTorah Shu Masig B'Pardes K'fi Yechodes HaSagas Shorish Nasha Lamala. The Chabad of his soul are clothed in the comprehension of Torah, which comprehends Pardes to the extent of the mental capacity. We have to break our minds. Yechodes HaSagas. That means according to our abilities. Remember, this is very individual what he's saying over here. Shoresh nafsho lamala, according to the supernal root of his soul. Yeah, he's sort of hinting on that halacha that he brings down, that each person needs to learn according to shoresh neshama, because he says this, according to your ability in your mind and the source of your soul lamala. So that's how Torah should be learned. The Chabad of itself, Chochmah Bina Das. When you're learning Torah, you're experiencing Chochmah Bina Das. The spark of understanding of wisdom flashes in. The spark of wisdom flashes in, and then your Bina, your Havana starts to make connections and clarify and build on it and elucidate it, and then you get to Das, what the Pesach is. How's it come out? What is it teaching you specifically? How to express it, the Ma'aseh, into your emotions, into your action, into your speech. And we're doing that every day when we're learning Torah. And we're going through the Pardes, through the garden of Torah. This orchard of Pshat Remes, Drosh Sod, through the Shem Havaya, through the Giluim of Hashem. This is what we're going for every day. And it's all to poly on where your Shorish of your Neshama is. You can't be, if Morgenstern was like, learn Kabbalah. I just didn't feel like I was there,
Right.
He's a big tzaddik, he can tell me what he wants, but I have to do what according to my kalim and my abilities and what I understand.
Yeah.
And that was something my Rebbeim that I had with Bullman and other Rabbonim.
Yeah.
They were very much into being real with what kind of awe you absorb
Be
at
normal.
certain times. Yeah, like my Talmud Rebbe as well. He doesn't give over Kabbalah. He gives over Niglas Torah and here in Chassidus. So I have enough Tzaddikim Rebbeim to say I don't need to always be busy in Kabbalah. Yeah. Now, do I ever once in a while touch in it? Yeah, Mr. Hashem. I'm zoka to learn a little bit through other people, or now this sort of Joey Rosenfeld's around giving it over in English and stuff. There's all these different people, so you get to hear a little bit of Kabbalah. But the point is that the real sod still remains a sod. To really access it means a certain level of bittul and simcha, and you need to be holding a little bit. So I feel like Chassidus, and he said this to me when Morgenstern, when I used to speak to him about this. He said to me that Chassidus is a chana. It's going to give you the kalim. Yeah, it's going to give you the vessels, the kalim, to be able to learn Kabbalah. So the fact that I agreed to him that I want to learn Chassidus first before I get into Kabbalah, he said that's fine, but his point was get to Kabbalah.
Interesting.
V'amida shehein yira v'hava v'anfein v'todesein ma'bushim b'kiyim v'mitzvahs v'masa v'divo shu Talmud Torah keneged kulam. And the midot, these are ava and yira. These are branches. Remember, we learned this before. They're offshoots. The ramification are clothed in the fulfillment of the commandments. This is where we're adding this next point. The mabushim, bushas, the
midos.
Yeah, maveshus. The kiyim of the mitzvahs are masa dibim shu Talmud Torah keneged kulam. That's the famous quote. We just said it this morning. Let's show we did because of Torah. The Talmud Torah is keneged everything. Yeah, after all that said and done, all the emotions, love and fear, through speech and action, through learning and understanding what the mitzvahs are, we have to realize that Torah is keneged all the commandments, all the Torah mitzvahs. So that's another thing when you go back and forth between what is greater in a certain way. Torah, mitzvahs, back, forth. Yeah, everything has its milah in its place. Yeah. So when you put the Tefilin on, you're doing a mitzvah masa. And speaking is Talmud Torah, learning Gemara, learning Tanya.
Right. So what he's really saying here, says it on the side here.
But it has to be imbued with love and fear of Hashem.
Not only is your mind awake,
Yira va'ava. It has to be, the midot have to be awakened when you're learning. You can't just learn intellectually. You have to learn with Ava and Yira.
Right. And so what ends up happening here, what he was saying is the
So important, that addition here.
A
lot of people learn, but to learn with Ava and Yira, it's a certain level of midas, of a relationship with Hashem when you're learning Torah. It has to be the Ava, the love for Hashem, and the Yira from Hashem. It can't. Yeah, but you're a human being. You can't become a robot when you're learning Torah. Just data points. It's not data. It's elikus. It's godliness you're learning, and they're clothed in these words and these mitzvahs.
Right. And another thing he writes here
So once again, it separates from all this AI nonsense that's coming. It's not authentic. It doesn't connect into the neshama, to the alakus. It's just data.
Right.
You have to say what it is. It's just information. It's not got neshama. It's got no soul. Some of these pictures that are weird. AI generated stuff just looks weird.
So one thing she was saying here is also that your thoughts, like I said, your emotional hamidos, shehinir v'havya fanim. So the same. He's saying like these are not you. These are garments. They're clothing. They're levushim of your soul.
Yeah.
So it's like sometimes we think our thoughts are us. I think our thoughts are who we are. If I feel
yeah, that's an important. We bring that up before. I think.
Yeah.
Thoughts are really levushim. They're not another level of clothing.
Mm-hmm. It's like a very popular way of thinking.
We said there's
therapeutic world.
Yeah, and that's you have to. It's very good to like if you look at Eckhart Tolle. Yeah, I know.
What is this?
Eckhart Tolle. He gets this whole all these books on. He's got a bunch of them now. Oprah's a big fan of him, but whatever. The point is, without getting too much into the general wisdom of the world, but he brings over there how you need to start to learn how to look at thoughts that way. That they're levushim. I don't know how he got to that understanding. Maybe he learned Tanya. I don't know. But the point is that that everything can be put into its context rather than impersonalizing it. It makes a big difference in life when you don't have to personalize every time you think something.
Right.
That's people make mistakes.
It's not all about us.
Yeah, and he has a book called The Power of One.
The Power of One.
And he has a bunch of new ones as well, Healing Earth or whatever it's called.
Healing Earth?
Something like that. That's the more later one.
It's a climate guy?
No. It's about healing the soul level. Right?
Soul.
It's all about, once again, this whole concept of thoughts that come towards you. He has this pain bodies, and I forget, it's been a while since I read the book, but you have this concept of pain bodies, and I have friends who are really into it. So then you can get caught up in certain like pain focused energies and thoughts.
Yeah.
Instead of tuning into a more peaceful, loving, happy kind of energy.
Right.
Through thoughts and
those
speech.
Energies create physical manifestations of the of the mind.
I'm not 100% sure about this guy in Isfahan. My friends hold of him, they think he's was a revelation of Hashem through this guy. I don't know.
Could be.
Maybe. He's a bit into Yoshka too much.
Oh, he talks about the Pundrik?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, he is a Jew, at the end of the day.
Right.
Kiava, that's also funny. They follow this off the Derek Jew.
Right.
Billions of people.
Right.
It's like it just shows you, one Jew what he can, his legacy.
He can do.
Eventually we'll come back to Hashem. Kiahava he shorish kol ramach mitzvah zasei v'menu hein nimshachis v'alada ein lehem kiyum amiti. For love is the root of all the positive commandments. Yeah, let's just work it out. Ava is what? Is mitzvah zasei. The shorish of the meter of Ava. Of chesed and all these things, it all comes back to the panemius is of mitzvah zaseh, of positive mitzvah, 248 limbs.
The words of John Lennon, all you need is love.
Yeah, but the problem is it's not true because that's only half the story.
Wow, that's very deep.
He only has ahava, so then he gets a bullet in the head. Yeah, sorry to say, that's what happened. And there's some of his funny woman that he was with. But the point
Chinese
is,
lady.
I don't know what she was, but she was just odd. Yeah?
Chinese people are all they're bots.
No, not all of them.
Not all of them.
Don't want to generalize racist stuff.
I don't want to.
There's some good people out there.
There's some very good people. I work with them.
Yeah, there you go. So let's keep it positive. But the point is that Ava is the root of the 248 mitzvahs. Yeah?
Yeah.
So the limbs. So it's all... It has how manifest. A Yira is the 365 mitzvahs lo taseh.
Yeah.
So it manifests the shorish of all the mitzvahs is Ava Hashem, of positive mitzvahs, and the shorish of all the negative mitzvahs is Yiras Hashem.
Yeah.
So you love Hashem, you want to do, and you fear Hashem, you don't want to do. They're the boundaries. So that's the panemius. It's very important to remind yourself what the panemius or the root level of why you're doing this mitzvah. So why do you learn Torah, which is a mitzvah aseh, Talmud Torah, because you love Hashem, you love His Torah. Why don't you learn Torah? Why don't you not learn Torah? Why do you not make bittul Torah? Because you're scared of not doing Hashem's will. You don't want to just waste time. So when you sat there in front of some Netflix nonsense, and it's one of those addictive ones, I try never get into those series. Yeah, I don't even have Netflix right now, but like once you start with those series, it's like game over for like hours.
Yeah.
At some point, either that night, so that day's ruined the next day, or for the next few weeks you're just addicted. Like any spare minute you're going to give to Netflix instead of giving to your wife and your kids and other more important things. So it's so you have this year that stops you from being Netflix. You get it off your phone and you say, no, I don't want to be addicted to this nonsense, because it's going to be an avera of bittul Torah, and probably I'm going to see things I shouldn't see, and it's going to have all this woke crap attached to it, and I have to now sift through all this nonsense. For back to the love part, for he who fulfills him in truth, he loves Hashem's name, and he truly desires to cleave to him. So this is the idea of emes. You want to, once you love Hashem, you're going to want to davik to His emes.
Right.
You don't want to be a davik to its sheker out there.
Right.
You want to be davik to Hashem's emes. And that can also protect you from watching Netflix. Your love for Hashem, because you just want to be in all the time davik to emes. Davik be'emes.
Now,
now this is bringing from the Zohar, I think. But this, the Lashon even sounds like Zohar kind of Lashon. That no one can truly cleave to him except for the fulfillment of the 248 Pikudin, which is commandments, but that's Lashon, I think, is from the Zohar. Shehein Ramach Avarim Demalka Kiviyachu. Yeah, Tikkun Zohar, Tikkun.
Here he writes here, Ramach Avarim Demalka Kiviyachu.
Yeah, Kiviyachu. And these are now. This is very deep. This is a whole nother level of understanding. When we're doing mitzvahs, we're davik to the king. Yeah. But remember, let's just add one point. This isn't the king himself. This is what? His levushim.
Right.
So we're hugging the clothes. We're hugging the clothes that surround the king.
But even our love, how we're doing with ahava, that's also a levush of our neshama too. So it's like the way we connect are through levushim.
Yeah, often. Definitely.
Our soul, our neshama, or our nefesh. Again, now each one, just to go back for a second, each one of those, right? Nefesh, ruach, neshama, right? So those three, and the other ones too.
Chaya yichida.
Yeah. So those, we all, each one of them have their own, or is it just stam, like a nefesh alikus? It's confusing always.
No, because within each level, there's levels. That's what you got to remind yourself.
There's levels within levels.
Within each one. Within each level of soul, there's all the levels. There's 10 spheres.
Within each level, there's 10 spheres. But what about
So the Nefesh has all the 10 spheres, and the Ruach has 10 spheres. Each world is, Alamas is 10 spheres.
The levushim of Ahava.
This is partly what we're learning in the previous point.
Right.
The previous program was about this Jewish soul and the levels of the Jewish soul.
Right.
Now what we're learning is Torah mitzvah. I'm just trying to bring it back to where we're at.
No, but
your questions are valid.
It.
Your question, I know it could be. The problem is if we bring the previous program to here, it starts to get a little bit. Hopefully, we understood those program, but we did the best.
Well, you gotta run it through. It's like the same way we got to do all the.
You're right. You have to chazer.
The chazer.
Have to review what we've done till now. That's why I did start with a review based on that, because within Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, there is all these levels. And I understand what you're trying to say, the levushim, and then so where is it the actual when you're actually with Hashem? Yeah, well, it's not clothing. So the answer is the Torah. We're going to get that in a minute. When you're learning Torah, you are becoming davik to the moach of Hashem.
Right.
That's when you access Hashem direct. We sort of hinted at it somewhat.
What are being davik
through? Torah keneged kulam is a sort of concept that it's the equivalent of everything, but that's when you're in the panemius. The panemius of the mitzvahs is the Torah. That's what vivifies them, and that's when that's the one who's Masava them. Hashem it's all eitzes, it's all Ratzon Hashem. It's Savui. Hashem wills these mitzvahs. So what's the Panemius? That's why when we learn that Shir of Shabbos with Rav Shlomo, you were here, yeah?
Yeah.
So the idea of you
not
Makashi yourself, I don't know if you were here. No, you weren't.
I wasn't here.
Makashi yourself, Kasha Atzmi, to the Moshe Rabbeinu. That's a Moshe Rabbeinu. It's famous Torah of Menachem. Makashi Atzmi to why the Torah Moshe Rabbeinu? Because Moshe's Torah Sivilanu. Moshe brought down Torah Sivilanu. The idea that the Torah is a commandment for us. It's Moshe Chidas Yaakov. It's our inheritance. So we are given this gift to become Davik to Hashem, Be'emes, or through the Torah Kadosha, which gives us the mitzvahs.
Yeah, Mama.
And Torah is the Pnimis connection, and the mitzvahs are levushim, the clothing.
Right.
He's going to say it better than me. So let's just see what he says. For the 248 organs of the king, as it was explained elsewhere, just as each of the organs of human being is a vessel for the particular soul power that clothes in it,
right.
The eye is a vessel for the power of sight, the ear for hearing, and so on. So, because we also have levushim and chushim, that's a chushim, I suppose, senses. So, is each commandment a vessel for the specific aspect of supernal will? That's when we start to get into what's the Hashem's will, and that clothes itself in each commandment. So, love of Hashem's clothes expresses itself in performing the 248 mitzvahs.
Mm-hmm.
When we're doing mitzvahs, we're loving Hashem.
Yeah.
Cleaving to Hashem.
Well.
And now,
is that true? When we're doing mitzvahs, when we're doing mitzvahs through ahava.
Yeah, for ahava.
But if we do mitzvahs because we are mechanical Jews,
problem.
Are we still tapping into that Indian of ahava?
Externally, but it's a problem because you're not connecting to the shorish.
Right.
And that's when you start to lose like that.
Like there's an Indian to someone
still does something.
Like I remember
it's like giving tzedakah endlessly. It works on your meter of tzedakah, it works on your aspect of chesed, and you get a mitzvah, and it trains you to become more associated. Like the Rambam says, you get more and more, and the Tanya encourages pushkas. You get more and more involved with kindness and chesed and tzedakah. Right. It makes you eventually the external action will awaken the panemius. That's one of the famous Mesilat Yesharim. But if only you just always never learn Tanya. Just carry on. You lived a good life. You probably go to Gan Eden, but I don't imagine you're accessing the panemius of Gan Eden. It's very you're not going to get the full experience. It's like going on a holiday and being asleep the whole time.
Right.
And like lying on the sun, getting a suntan, and that's
just staying in the hotel.
So staying in a hotel watching Netflix. You got a relaxing moment. So that was something out of it. But you didn't go visit this amazing place you flew to. You didn't go see the glory of this island
the
or whatever
Eiffel Tower.
It was. Yeah, whatever it is, this technological wonder or this 7 wonders of the world. You didn't, like these YouTubers, when they go. They don't sit in their rooms. They're busy on the streets, walking from place to place with their GoPros, and they're I don't know if they're really experiencing it fully because they're busy with their channel, but on some level they are, and
selfie stick.
Yeah, but on some level they do experience it because they're pushing themselves out of their comfort zone day after day, going to these places.
Right.
It's not easy.
It's a different world.
It's a hard lifestyle. Even though they also have a good time as well. Most of they're successful. Like I watched one called Cara and Nate, and they are now at a point where they're like flying on the best planes, like first class.
Wow.
Having and they could like stay in Trump Towers in the best hotel room. They get hookups to the best things.
My kids love to watch these shows.
Yeah, they get a lot out. They get a lot of milers from the success they've had roughing it all the beginning years.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, one criticism I would say of them that they didn't yet build a family. So I'd say, like they didn't, so they're getting older, and I don't know if they're missing that opportunity, and it's their choice to do whatever they want, but. We know that Hashem, when He created the world, gave a commandment of puravu. So it's to say my YouTube channel is more important than having children. I don't think so. It just isn't. You can figure out how to do both. That would be the ideal.
Well, how to do what?
Have children and do a business like that.
YouTube.
Why should it be this or that? I don't know. I think that's too much. Too much focus on your career, not enough on what life is. Part of life is having children. It's just Just like we're learning here. Chochmah bina das noled bonem.
We have to multiply.
Yeah, peruvus. So it's where it happens on a penimis level, happens on a MASHA level.
Right.
V'yirahi shorish l'shasa lo taseh. Fear is the root of the observance of the 365 prohibitions.
Reverence.
So now we got to the Yira side of it. Yira lemora b'melech v'malcha amlochim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And fear is the root of observance of the 365 mitzvahs. And this is the commandments to fill and not to rebel against the Supreme King of Kings, the Holy One, best to be He. Or Yira Penimis Mizo, excuse me, Shababoshes Megadoloso, Lemoris Ene Kavode, Lasis Hara Ba'enav. On a deeper level, fear, we feel a bush upon him. We feel like Shabbos is gracious, is obviously Yira Boshis, another good remes. That you have to have from Shabbos a certain fear to be ashamed in front of Hashem's greatness, to just go against him. And Klaiso are naturally bushanim. We have a natural busha towards doing weird stuff, in the world, and eating bugs on video cameras, and you just don't do.
I have a video of me eating bugs.
All right.
I went to a place in Beit Shemesh.
Yeah, but it's not allowed. It's kosher bugs.
The kosher locust or the grasshopper.
Oh, that's great. The arbor, yeah, that's fine.
No, they have it in that Beit Shemesh.
That's mutter.
What is it? The Beit Shemesh. This Beit Shemesh has this whole zoo.
Cool.
Has a whole hechsha to that.
Was it tasty?
It tasted like very disgusting crackers.
Oh, that's not good.
But it was rich in protein and vitamin E, I think.
Yeah. And the Masorah to eat it's from like the Yemenites or something?
Yeah, it's the Yemens. Not the guys who are shooting rockets at our tanks.
No, the good ones. Yeah. Kol ta'ovis Hashem asher sonah heim klipas sitra achra. Namely, any of the bottom things hated by God, which is the klipa and sitra achra, you have to hate those things and not do them. Asher yinukasam adam tachtoin v'achizam bo b'shasa mitzvahs lo taseh. Restore their nurture for man below and have their hold in him.
Yeah.
So they nurture and life through him, through his violates of the 365 commandments. So they only get all the negative forces only get its strength from when we go away from Hashem, and we now externalize these powers of negativity by not keeping the mitzvahs lo taseh, but by keeping the mitzvahs lo taseh, which is what like Hashem hates these things. They're abominable.
They're from the negative forces of the universe. It says here.
Yeah. Like, for example, Mishkav Zacha, I don't bring it up, but people that do, that kind of act. Just
klipas.
You have to hate it because it's spilling seed into a place that's not where the seed's supposed to go.
Yeah.
Hashem says it's ta'eva in the Torah. And God doesn't know what he's talking about. You know better, Mr. Gay Boy, you know better.
Gay man.
I think you have a Nagir, I think you have a taiva that's making you fight this whole reality that God communicates to the humanity, and this is not where your seed belongs.
Homiletical.
Yeah. That's a good joke. But anyway, I didn't understand that word. I still don't. Anyway, the point is that the klipa is hiding, covering up. It's just like shells. And the sitra. The main thing is we have to megala Hashem's oneness. That's what we're here for. And Hashem's oneness includes doing mitzvahs and not doing averas. Averas gives chiyas, and the yira, the hatred towards negativity in an elevated level of understanding hatred, not hitting people and doing protests and all this nonsense. Talking about like on a penimis level, understanding this is negative for you, for humanity.
It's a deeper reverence.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like you don't run into moving cars because you feel this deep reverence for
life, sanctity of life. Yeah, you don't want to damage that Tesla. I'm just joking. Sanctity of life. Yeah. Restore their nurture from man below in the world and have the hold in him, so he'll be able to derive. So the only way that these forces exist is because of us not doing the mitzvahs properly. By us, Hashem, being over one of these mitzvahs lo taseh, that 365 gives like the days of the year, the amount of sinews. We have to realize that by protecting ourselves, we don't want to give chiyas to any of those negative forces. And with that power,
anybody got time for that?
Yeah, but do you understand now? Like we're walking mitzvahs aseh, mitzvahs lo taseh, avos Hashem, yiras Hashem. It's all rooted. It's also rooted in Anochi Hashem Elokecha. We're going to read this week in the Dibros. Lo yelecha. All the mitzvahs aseh is Anochi, and all the mitzvahs lo taseh is lo yelecha. You should not have any other gods. So we have in this week's parsha the two foundations of the commandments that give us the root level for all the other mitzvahs. And it gives us our munah in Hashem. It gives us our avas Hashem, yiras Hashem. You realize, and when you're saying Kriya Shema, you should know also there's 248 words.
Right.
Which fixes up 248 limbs.
And then you have the tzitzis plus the tzitzis.
Yeah, and then that protecting you from doing any of the law tasses as well, because you have the yira, the Ol Malchus Shemayim, and the Schava Onish, the kavanas you get from the Vayim Shemoah. This is how a yid every day gets himself on a pneumius level focused on the Ratzon Hashem.
The avodah b'yid.
Yeah, we didn't yet get into the Torah. We're talking about mitzvahs right now. We mentioned Tam and Torah Keneged Kulam. We touched on it, but the main focus has been today is Levushim and on mitzvahs. Aseh mitzvahs lo taseh. The Shoresh is Ava and Yira. Hashem, we're getting somewhere. Every day is a step forward.
Day.
And you can feel the progress.